Breakfast Call Dialogue, widening your horizons.
Hi, this is Arlene.
Hi, this is Grace.
And we are moving to our ABC dialogue. At our ASEAN Breakfast Call, we have Datuk Ramesh Kodamal. He's a council member of the ASEAN Business Advisory Council, as well as a co-chairman of the ASEAN Indian Business Council. Welcome to the studio.
Hello, how are you?
Hi, thanks. Good morning to all of you. First of all, thank you for inviting me this morning to your wonderful show on radio. Mm-hmm. And I think it's high time that ASEAN might be highlighted before Malaysia takes the chair in 2015.
Mm-hmm. But we have to start with a sad note that knowing only 37% of at least the Malaysian population knew about ASEAN. And this is based on a study that you conducted.
Yeah. Basically speaking, a lot of Malaysians do not know actually what is happening within ASEAN, especially the SMIs and SMEs. Mm-hmm. You must understand that in the whole of ASEAN region and also in Malaysia, 97% of the businesses which are around are SMIs and SMEs. So I think we have to put in a lot of effort to highlight more about ASEAN to this sector, which is a very important sector within the ASEAN pillars.
At the same time, also not many people are aware of what ASEAN is itself. It's pretty sad because we're going to become a chairman in 2015, and then still a majority of the population, they are not aware of this.
Mm-hmm. And one of the key area that ASEAN is focusing on is the ASEAN Economic Community,
exactly,
which will be achieved next year. Mm-hmm. But post AEC, what do you see in that?
Thank you. First of all, let me give you a brief about the ASEAN Business Advisory Council. This ASEAN Business Advisory Council was formed during Tun Abdullah Badawi's time at the ASEAN Leaders Meet. And this council has got 3 representatives from Malaysia appointed by the government. And there are 3 representatives from each country within ASEAN who sit on this council. And the focus of this Business Advisory Council is to put our ears on the ground to see what is required so that at point of time we can relate these matters to the leaders for them to improvise on the whole system within ASEAN for the businesses. As you know that ASEAN was formed for different reasons in 1967. At that point of time, the late Prime Minister Tun Abdul Razak was the Prime Minister of Malaysia, and it was then we formed ASEAN. And with a common objective, with the 5 countries which were first members, that is Malaysia, Indonesia, Singapore, Thailand, and Philippines. The idea was to have close cooperation within the countries. It was because of political and security reasons in 1967. Since then, we have come a long way. Now, as we moved on, we found that the ASEAN integration is very important,
very
crucial, and we have to look into our economic strength if we want to move forward. And as we moved on, we had Brunei joining us, we had Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia. These were the new members. Myanmar, who is the chair this year of ASEAN, they came into the loop. And we had a bigger family. And what do we do now? We have to strengthen ourselves economically. And this was a very important factor. And we have been doing very well. There's no doubt about it. Even though in Malaysia, less people know about ASEAN activities. Thanks to AirAsia, we can fly to any part of ASEAN today. Mm-hmm. And we are there. The tourism sector is moving. But in other countries, like Laos, Myanmar, Vietnam, Cambodia, they are quite aware because they would like to see more prosperous places.
Exactly.
So the lower income group countries within ASEAN are trying to focus to see how they can match with the growing countries in ASEAN. Well, we within ourselves, we are only looking at our neighbors like Singapore, or Philippines, or Indonesia, Thailand. Malaysians I'm talking of. But now we are having an opportunity with all the FTAs which have been signed up to move forward.
So this will be different from the bilateral FTAs that Southeast Asian countries have between themselves. This is impacting the whole region to create this single market. From the perspective of the ASEAN Business Advisory Council, why only now you are thinking of creating this market? Why not probably 2 decades ago?
You see, basically speaking, if you look 2 decades ago and today, things have not only changed within ASEAN, but they have changed within the world. And what ASEAN feels today is that they are the third largest economic community in Asia by getting together. For your information, ASEAN has got a population of 625 million today. This is substantial, a huge population after India and China. China has got about 1.3 billion, India has got about 1.2 billion. Our combined population is 625 million, which is a huge population. And we are a huge market by itself if we combine ourselves together. Now that we have placed ourselves within our grouping, we have to look forward to see how best we can grow and move forward. Everyone is talking of 2015 AEC. Everyone is excited about it. But let me tell you one thing, which which came to my mind. This 2015 AEC is a milestone rather than a hard target. And it's not a destination, it's a journey. Even after 2015, we have to carry on with things. We have to improve ourselves and move forward so that while we are having the economic strength within ourselves, we can grow further for other areas.
And I want to know a bit about your background. We haven't discussed about that yet. So it's quite interesting that besides being part of the ASEAN Business Advisory Council, you are also the co-chair of the ASEAN India Business Council. That means that you already foresee how this region should interact as a single entity against the bigger powers, especially neighboring our countries like India, China, and possibly the US and all that.
Yeah, thank you. I think coming back to ASEAN itself first before we move on to the other areas, I think there is a lot of opportunity. There are a lot of openings for the business community. First, let's begin with ASEAN. ASEAN itself is a huge market. There's a lot of opportunities in ASEAN for the SMIs and SMEs. While having said opportunity, there are also challenges. We must not forget. Opportunity comes with challenges. While we say that ASEAN has got a population of 625 million, the markets are open, the free trade agreements are in place, businesses can move freely, we must also understand that there will be an influx of businesses from various ASEAN countries coming in. Let me take, for example, in Malaysia, we'll have people from Indonesia, from Thailand, all flocking in to do business because it's going to be an open market. So the challenges will definitely be there. Vice versa, even if the markets are open up in other countries. So what do we do here? We have to work on certain areas where we train our SMIs and SMEs to move forward to face these challenges. We cannot say that we have just done up the FTAs, everything is opened up, and our business, what do? The SMIs and SMEs need a lot of guidance. They need a lot of help in all sectors to see how they can penetrate into the various ASEAN markets. It is very important. While having said that, we also have got an edge. We have two huge markets, India and China. We can, with a population, a huge population, where we can export to these countries. We can invite them to come and invest in ASEAN. For your information, up till today, ASEAN has got one of the best GDPs in the world. We are moving at about 5.3%, which is considered to be fantastic. It's good.
Interesting number.
Yeah, so I think we are growing. The opportunities are there. We would like to work with our Indian counterparts who can come in here, set up their factories, set up their service centers, whatever they want to work within Malaysia. I'm just talking of Malaysia and India now. Set them up here and work together, because India is a huge market.
Definitely a huge market. And about your background, how did you get involved with the ASEAN Business Advisory Council?
The ASEAN Business Advisory Council is a council which has been, the members are appointed by the government through MITI, the Ministry of International Trade. There are 3 members on this council. Our chairman is Tan Sri Munir Majid. We have another member, Tuan Said Nabil, and myself. We represent the government. We try to work together with the other ASEAN Business Advisory Council members. We have regular meetings to find out what are the problems within the business community, within ASEAN, and what is needed to be done. And for myself, I'm a businessman, and I have got past experience with trading. I have been in various organizations, in various chambers. By that scope, I've been appointed, and we have to see how we can look after the SMIs and SMEs, how we can rope them up together, see if they need any help, where we will be able to put them on to certain areas where they can improve themselves. The biggest concern for SMIs and SMEs is usually funding and information. These are the 2 areas where the SMIs and SMEs need help.
What kind of information, if you want to be more specific?
Yes. Take, for example, now we have got the FTAs in place, the free trade agreements. The SMIs and SMEs should know about it. They should know what their rights are, how they can do their exports, how they can do their imports, how they can do their documentation, how they can use the single window to move forward. This information is very vital. So we actually work with this to pass this information to various NGOs, various business councils, chambers, so that they can pass on to their members.
What are the current practice of majority of the businesses by local companies? Are they they would usually just go with zero knowledge and just take the risk? Let's say a Malaysian company investing in Vietnam. How usually with the current situation, majority of them commit what kind of mistake?
Basically speaking, I think that anyone who is going overseas to start up or set up a business will definitely do some research. They cannot go blank. We have MIDA with us, we have Matrade with us. They advise a lot of Malaysian businesses.
But a lot of Malaysian businesses, do they even utilize this?
Definitely, when they want to do it, they will find ways and means to see how they can move forward. They have got their various chamber bodies where information is available. If they want to penetrate and move into one country for a certain business, I'm very sure that they will look into it. You know, our websites are available. Matrade's website is available for them to have further information. MIDA's website is available for them to have information. And also our ASEAN Business Advisory Council. We have got a website. If people need information, they can go onto it and find out what about the latest FTAs have been signed up, what can be done. You know, that is how we work on to pass information.
So basically, all the groundwork has been laid already for them to
Definitely, the groundwork has been
from
laid for the SMIs and SMEs. Now information has to be passed on to them that this is available to you. Please make use of this. And if you need anything further, please work on with the right channels, that is Matrade, MIDA, the chambers, so that they can help the businessmen to move forward. The other biggest concern for the SMIs and SMEs is usually funding. So it is very important that the financial sectors open up. And we have suggested to the leaders that if an ASEAN SME bank could be formed, so that there will be excess of funding towards SMIs and SMEs within ASEAN, it will be very helpful. So these are the things which are ongoing, and it cannot be completed within a short period. It has to keep on moving. Even after 2015, the road and the journey continues.
What has the ASEAN Business Advisory Council put in place until next year? We only have another 2 months in order for companies to understand what exactly is AEC.
Where the ASEAN Business Advisory Council in Malaysia, we will be having our first event on the 19th of November and the 20th. We'll be having a SME conference to highlight the needs of the SMEs and how they can move forward, the challenges and opportunities. That's the actually theme of the seminar. And then on next year, we'll be having a lot of roadshows, moving on to all sectors to explain to them how they can get involved within ASEAN and how they can move forward to improve their businesses. And we at the ASEAN Business Advisory Council have worked forward on many things. One of the areas is that we have told the heads of states and ministers a mechanism is to be put in place to institutionalize a well-coordinated interactive information campaign, not only within Malaysia but also within ASEAN, so that the SMIs and SMEs really do know about it, so that they feel that now, yes, ASEAN is there and we are there within ASEAN and we are part of ASEAN. We can move in any corner of ASEAN to do what we done. That is one of the areas what we are looking at. The other area what we are recommending is that the elimination of entry and operation restriction on ASEAN financial institutions to enhance the potential gains of SMEs would reap from the ASEAN financial sector reform incentive. We need something here where the ASEAN SMIs and SMEs can gain finance. Without finance, they can't move. Today, take for example, you are having a bank in Thailand. I'm a Malaysian. If I go to Thailand, I want to set up a business. If I go to a local bank, they'll tell me I need some record, I need past performance. But I'm a new person in ASEAN. I've just started up the business there. I can't get bank funding. So what we are telling here is that if I'm operating in Malaysia and if I'm having a bank account in Malaysia, those local banks should consider looking at our track record so that they also can help finance our businesses within the ASEAN region. So these are certain things which we are trying to promote and see how we can move forward. The other area what we are looking at is, you have heard about the Apex travel card.
Not really.
Not really. So Apex travel card, if you have an Apex travel card, you don't have to apply visas to certain countries like Japan, Korea, Australia, and things like that. And it becomes very easy for the businessmen to move around. So we are suggesting that if we could create an ASEAN card to ease the burden of people traveling within ASEAN, so we'll have an advantage. Today, if take for example, if I'm going to Myanmar, I have to apply for a visa. It becomes a little hassle. So I think all the restriction, free movement, for businesses must be there, so that we can move, we can penetrate, we can work together and see how we can progress at the next level.
We'll take a short break. When we return, more discussion on the challenges and opportunities for SMEs.
ASEAN Breakfast Call Dialogue, widening your horizons.
Hey, this is Arlene.
Welcome back. This is Grace.
And of course, with us is Datuk Ramesh Kodamal. He shared with us earlier about ASEAN Business Advisory Council and the kind of challenges that SME would face post AEC 2015. So for a small and medium company to survive in the vast land of Southeast Asia, what are the opportunities that they can tap into post ASEAN Economic Community 2015?
This is a question which has regularly been asked by many. The opportunities. The opportunities are ample. If you are small, you don't have to remain small. If you've got knowledge, technology, and if you are good in what you're doing, you can have collaboration with other ASEAN members, so you can grow bigger. So we are trying to tell the SME, there's an opportunity.
It's either you want it or not.
Yes. Why don't you merge rather than remaining small? You have ASEAN with you. You have your counterparts in 10 countries, and everyone definitely would be doing something what you're doing. So why don't you merge together and move forward rather than being isolated? Merging is the name of the game of success today. So that from small, you become bigger. When you are bigger, you are competitive. You can actually move further. That's what everyone does when you're growing.
But talking about competitions, right? Wouldn't they worry all those businesses to worry about the sudden increase in competition within, foreign products?
Definitely, the worry would be there. If you look at it, when we signed the free trade agreement with China, everyone was looking at that. China's goods will be influx all around, and today it's already a norm.
True.
But we have gone into a different level. We're looking at things differently. There's a lot of opportunity. Today for Malaysia, take for example, we are focusing on the halal hub, where we have got a huge Muslim population around the world. Indonesia has the second largest Muslim population in the world. You have got a huge Muslim population in India, in the Middle East. So halal food, if you concentrate on it, it's a huge market. Our furniture, which has been manufactured, is a huge market. We have got our electronic market. And we are looking at
automobiles
at the moment, our Prime Minister, just when he was in Indonesia to meet the new President Joko Widodo, he mentioned that they want to form an ASEAN car.
Yes, so we heard that too.
So you see, these are the ideas which the leaders themselves are looking at, how they can activate and promote the various industries. If Malaysia and Indonesia does a collaboration of an ASEAN car, it will be fantastic. It's a very good idea. So these are ideas. And who will benefit? The small businesses who are doing the supply to the manufacturers will also be doing the business. So it's a chain. We must start looking at new ideas. We must start looking at new things. Rather than, I remember that when Malaysia first started the chain of hypermarkets.
Macro, I still remember.
I was at a meeting at the domestic trade. There was a lot of concern telling that, the mom and pop shops won't be doing well because of the hypermarkets coming in. That was about 20 years ago. But today, you see, everything has changed. The mom and pop shops have specialized into a lot of things. They're doing well, some of them. They're specializing in certain things. And it moves on. So competition is good for progress if we manage it well and move forward.
How about when we started a business, we need fund and also we need investors. How can investors benefit from AEC 2015?
Definitely, you see a lot of FDIs are coming into ASEAN. ASEAN is one of the biggest receivers of FDIs within the region. Foreigners are looking that as ASEAN progresses, there will be a lot of funding required. Funding comes into capital investment.
Any key countries that they are currently pouring their funding to Southeast Asia?
Many are coming in. China has put in a lot of money into Southeast Asia. Yeah, the Americans have put in money. The Europeans have come in. Everyone has got a fair portion of what they want to do. To your question, FDIs do come in. They do see various sectors, and they invest. So the capital investment comes in. Sometimes the financial investment comes into certain areas, so that things move. Because they see, if ASEAN has got a growth of 5% GDP of 5% per annum, it is fantastic. Not many countries in the world have it. So it's still a viable market. Today when Indonesia opens up its doors to foreigners, I think there'll be a lot of FDIs moving into Indonesia. Because a huge market. Indonesia needs everything, from roads to railways, whatever it is, they require it.
Yes.
So there is a huge requirement within the ASEAN country for FDIs. Only thing is that how it's structured and how it moves forward.
One of the key feature of AEC is, of course, economic liberalization, and you can either see it as a good thing, or it can be a threat to especially small and medium companies, considering they have very little support comparing to larger ones. So how can SME, try to encounter all this liberalization that is going on?
Specialize in what you're doing. Number one, merge with bigger companies. Number two, move forward aggressively to various markets and find your markets. There's an opportunity everywhere around. You have got the ASEAN market. Definitely 620 million people do require certain things. You can look into the markets. India is opening up. You have a lot of exports. China is our third largest, I believe, partner in trade where exports are concerned. Markets are opening up. We will be able to do it.
But do you think government intervention on SME would be a good thing, as in like creating some sort of protectionist wall within SMEs?
I think the government has done and is always doing to support the SMEs. That's why if you look at it, the government agencies like the SME Corp, Martrade, MITI, they look forward to help the SMIs and SMEs. They play a role to advise them, to guide them, and even SME Corp helps them to a certain extent to see how they can pick up certain companies to support them to grow. These are the initiatives. But important thing is for the SMEs, they too have to look into things, not only depend on aid. They have to work forward to grow themselves.
So not too depending on government.
No, you should not. You should not. Actually, as a businessman, my advice to all the SMIs and SMEs is, we must work hard. If we need something, if our records are right, we must move on to the bankers. If our projects are viable, we will be able to get finance and move on. Just don't say that, I can't do it. Because that is not business. To be a businessman, you must move forward without much support. In the initial stage, you need it. To start up, you need a starting capital. But when you are starting up, you don't need that a huge capital.
So you believe that if the government were to intervene is at the initial stage of entrepreneurs incubating their
that's
product?
what a lot of help has been given. That's why we have got the SME loans, we have got the CGC loans. These are all various areas where funding can be obtained for the SMI to jumpstart their business, to move forward. And at every level you move on, there will be an opportunity to grow. But the banks must also consider and be very liberal, which SMEs always complain.
Right now they are not.
Basically speaking, for a bank to lend money, they must be very sure,
Of course.
right? For the SMEs, they feel that they need the money. It's a chicken and egg story. So the SMEs must do well. They must keep their records right. They must have their paperwork done. They must have a progressive report with them to approach the banks to move on further.
Mhm. I want to give an example. I don't know how you would answer this. Let's say a housewife, she makes really good nasi lemak, and
Yeah.
she wants to introduce nasi lemak to the whole of ASEAN, understanding that there's this thing called ASEAN Economic Community. What would be the ideal way for her to jumpstart and to make sure that her business expands and become a Southeast Asian business?
Fantastic. Before you look at Southeast Asia, first you must look at your surrounding, whether you have done it within your surrounding area, whether your nasi lemak is popular in your own area, then in your own state.
Let's say with the assumption that she did very well in her own community.
Yes.
It's like the best nasi lemak in that particular area. So you go to that area, you must try that makcik's nasi lemak. But how you expand it, I think that's the biggest problem a lot of SMEs are facing.
No, not exactly. You see, we have got a few Malaysian brands who have moved in ASEAN. If you have heard about Mary Brown,
Yes.
Mhm, yeah.
right? Mary Brown just started with one outlet. And today I believe that Mary Brown has got about 20 or 22 outlets around ASEAN. You have secret recipes. You have a lot of Malaysians who have started small and they have moved on. So the formula of being successful is to start small, keep on building on it, and move, have a persistence and move further. Definitely, if you are confident, and if you know that you can make it, I am sure, as an entrepreneur, you will be able to make it. Yeah, your question here is about the lady who is selling nasi lemak around. I'm very sure, if she has got the business acumen, if she gets right advice from SME Corp, from other agencies, I am sure she'll be guided to move to a different level.
Interesting, eh?
So work harder and then know your surrounding first before expanding your business.
You just take, imagine Malaysian fruit, durian.
That's the first thing.
Very interesting to know that durian is actually one of the delicacies in Hong Kong. People pay very high prices for durians in Hong Kong. So that means someone would have thought of the idea of selling these fruits around the world.
So in the Malaysian context, right, it's not so much that there's no space or avenue to do business. A lot of Malaysians might not even realize it.
Business is evergreen. It's whether you put in your effort, and a failure in business is always a success in future. Never take that today I've not done well, tomorrow I won't do well.
Exactly.
That's not all about business. Businesses, you have to keep on doing it.
Regardless how up and down.
Does not matter. It's a cycle where you go up and you come down. But you have to keep on working. You have to keep on doing. You will definitely be successful if you have the right elements with you. You work hard. You are honest. If you work hard and you're honest in your business, you will definitely find some solution to improvise your business and move forward.
That's from the business perspective. If we put it in the ASEAN perspective, if you can just give a bit of criticism, what are the areas within ASEAN Economic Community that you think it can be improved further?
I think there are a few of them where the challenges are still there. We are looking at the bigger part of it. I think we have to eliminate non-tariff barriers, which are increasingly replacing the tariffs as protective measures. So basically speaking, these non-tariffs, we have to eliminate them within ASEAN. So it becomes a real free flow for things. Strengthening trade facilitation to ensure live implementation of a national single window. This single window must be in place so that there is actually no restriction, there is free trade, there's no hindrance to any situation within ASEAN. You have to further liberalize the investment and service trade sector. This sector is an important sector where you can get workers from various ASEAN countries to come in. Today, if I am opening up something here in Malaysia, I know I've got some expertise from my ASEAN country. I can bring these workers here and get things done. You know, you must have an open sort of concept. So these are the areas I think we have to be more open and move forward with.
What about infrastructure? A lot of the complaints, not just from businesses, but also the general public, like, I mean, just take KL, for example, when it comes to the train station and the public transportation, number one, it's not efficient, and number two, it's not integrated, and number three, people still feel that it's more convenient to ride a car than to go to take the
your question
public
is
transport.
which part of ASEAN you're speaking about?
That's just in the city area, but on the larger picture, like how can the connectivity between ASEAN be able to be strengthened further to benefit AEC?
Yes, you must understand that ASEAN comprises of 10 different countries, and their per capita income is totally different compared to Singapore, Brunei. Those are the top notch. Then you have Malaysia, Thailand, Indonesia. We come in the second medium group. Then you have countries like Laos, Cambodia, Myanmar, So we must try to understand that all the various ASEAN groups are trying their very best to improve their infrastructure with their own means. Like today we speak of Malaysia. Malaysia has got one of the best infrastructures within ASEAN, there's no doubt about it. You have your roads in place, you have your ports in place, you have your airports in place, you have your highways in place, right? So I think within ASEAN, to answer the question, it is happening. The links will definitely take place.
In which year do you think that the infrastructure can be of a standard, maybe not to in the international standard, but at least a standard where, like, a local businessman who has very little means can travel from Malaysia to another country, let's say in Kalimantan, and be able to sell his product there?
I think to answer your question, now itself we can do it. If you look at AirAsia, tickets on sale, they're very cheap to travel within ASEAN. So that is not the question. I think the air transport is in place. You have a lot of low-cost airlines. You have AirAsia, you have Tiger Air, you have Menando. All these airlines are there. So the air travel is in place.
So you mean that all those member countries' performances, they are pretty settled between them in terms of...
Well, you inter-ASEAN, we don't have much problem of air travel. Yes, by roads. Now you see the bullet train which is going to be set from Kuala Lumpur to Singapore. I think it's going to be a boon. Maybe someone wants to have breakfast in Singapore, he can just in the morning take a 6 o'clock train, be in Singapore, have his breakfast and come back. It can happen. It's going to be a reality in time to come. Affordability also will be there because we are moving towards a higher income group. Things do change. That means our link will be there. I'm definitely sure after that, in time to come, they'll be looking at the same link of a bullet train right up to Kedah, at the border of Thailand. So that means we have got a fast-track train moving in place. So Malaysian infrastructure is in place. But we have to keep on improving it.
That's for sure. Because I also believe that Malaysia is one of the countries that has the top performances. But when it comes to customs, that is always the doubtful questions that we always have in terms of clearance, maintenance, efficiency, perhaps.
In customs?
Yeah.
What sort of problems do you encounter?
Like she said, in terms of convenience wise, in the public transportation, among public transportation users, they do complain about these systems in Malaysia.
No, I think when you're talking of customs, at our entry points, we don't have much of a problem for clearance. Because whenever you're traveling, you're coming to the airport, I don't think you'll have a problem for declaring your goods and things like that. That is customs procedure. But if you're talking of moving on to by car to Singapore, definitely there's a custom check. These are regular things which has to be done. So I don't think those are major issues.
Okay.
You know, so that's not an issue here. I think we have improved on it tremendously. Today you have the green lane at the airport. You have traveled 72 hours out of the country. You don't have to pay any taxes. You just walk in. That the convenience is totally there. And even our immigration laws are very good in the sense that, you know, whenever you travel, even if you want to apply for a passport, you can get it within a short period. These are all in place for travel within Malaysia. And I think there will be a travel boom within ASEAN as people come to know about it.
Glad to hear that. Anyway, we are towards the end of our show. Thank you very much for sharing your views. All the best for the ASEAN Business Advisory Council. Hopefully, post AEC, we will see a more integrated Southeast Asia.